So when you're setting your sag or your preload, it's these styles right here. It's the ones that are the brushed aluminum finish. This red one is for your rebound and the blue one is for your compression. Currently, since I'm a big dude, I have the sag fully clockwise. I've rotated it as far as it will go to the right. That is the most amount of tension. Now the reason I did that is I'm going to be closer to the high end than I am to the low end of what I need to do. So, and I wanted to know that they were the same. Now I can do the measurement, and then if I need to adjust it down at all and make them sink a little lower, I can just rotate them equal amounts and I know what point I'm starting at. If you're a lighter person and you put this stuff on your bike, you might want to do the opposite and have them both rotated counterclockwise all the way to the least amount of resistance when it comes to sag, and then rotate up from there. It's totally your call. I just didn't want to have one like halfway through and the other one 3/4 of the way through and not have them set equally. That covers the controls up there. Let's get right to the measurement. Well, I'm going to walk through how we're going to do this and then we're going to do it. I'm going to lift the bike up with the jack. I'm going to pull the trolley out from under it so that I can lower it all the way to the ground. Before I do that, if you look at the forks have this like ring down here. You're going to push it all the way up to the dust cover. You're going to lower the bike all the way to the ground. Once the bike's on the ground and on the kickstand, you're going to stand it up and sit on it. You're not going to go jumping up and down on it. You just want to stand the bike up and put your weight on the seat. That's all you want to do. The fork's natural compression from when the weight of the bike and the rider is sitting static, it's going to move that ring down that we just pushed up to the dust cover. Then you're going to measure from the bottom of the dust cover to the top of that ring. And there is a table in the installation instructions that basically tell you what in millimeters, what the gap should be based on your weight. Now for me, the weight I'm currently walking around at, that gap should be right at about 12.75 millimeters. And for those of you that are in the US and are like me and we don't really do metric a whole lot, basically there's 25.4 millimeters to an inch. So 12.75 is effectively a half an inch. So if I've got the sag set correctly, I'm looking to have a ½ inch gap between the bottom of the dust cover and the top of that little slip ring. If it's smaller, then I'm going to rotate both knobs the same amount counterclockwise. If it is bigger, I can't go any tighter. So what I might end up doing is taking the compression up a little bit. I think, just based on the definitions, compression should be how easily or how hard it is to make the fork smush. Rebound is how quickly it recovers back to its at-rest state. So since I have the compression and rebound both set like in the middle right now, which is the recommendation, they're right in the center. I counted up the number of clicks right in the middle that you can adjust, and that's where they're at. I might adjust a little more compression, increase the compression to see if that allows that gap to shrink to where it needs to be for me to have the appropriate sag. I'm going to go ahead and jack the bike up, put it down on the kickstand, stand it up, make that measurement, and then we'll go from there. In case I didn't say it, once you've sat on the bike and gotten that initial movement of the ring, to make the measurement, you want to jack the bike completely up off the floor so the front wheel is off of the ground when you make the measurement for whether or not your sag is set correctly or not. So I don't know whether I mentioned that, so I'll go ahead and say something about it now. All right, bike's on the ground. Now I'm going to stand it up and sit on it. Then we're going to put it back down. And raise it up. And get it completely off the floor. Then we can measure it. Now, front wheel's completely off the ground. Now I need to get my gauge. Millimeters. And we're gonna go. Okay, that's got it dialed.